Hello everyone and welcome to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with an 80s twist. I'm your host Clifton and welcome to another Thursday night live stream. Thank you to everyone tuning in live and those of you watching the replay. Feel free to leave a comment down below. But I'm so glad to see some great folks here in the chat already. I'm testing out not new software. Actually, I used to use this a long time ago, but it's been a while. So let me know if you have any issues with the audio or video. I think this quality is a little bit better than what StreamYard's been lately, so just wanted to try it out and see how it goes. I think I should be able to feature comments on the screen. Let's find out. No, oh no. I thought, shoot, it wouldn't let me test it unless I was like in an active chat. All right, well, it's okay. I'll read comments. It's no big deal at all. Video looks very good. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you. All right, so some of the comments in the chat. Zopher says he's off work early to watch this. One of my favorite lines of bourbon. Mine too. That's actually what I just posted on Discord. I was like, this is one of the ones that got me really into whiskey. So very, very excited to taste through not only the Bonded and the 114, but the new 16-year release. So you may wonder, wait a minute, there's one missing. Yes, I did skip the basic bottom shelf Old Grandad. But I have reasons. I had a whole handle of it and I ended up getting rid of it because I thought it would at least be good enough for, like, you know, making some bourbon lemonades, but it just, for me, it just didn't quite do it. So I wasn't going to go buy another bottle of that. So I skipped that one, and I'm telling you guys, if you are at all interested in whiskey, maybe skip the bottom shelf Old Grandad. It's 80 proof. Used to be 86 proof, but now it's 80 proof. For literally a couple bucks more, you can get some of these other releases. So that's my number one tip of the day. Fred said he's still working but listening in. 4-Leaf Whiskey, what's up, Stacy? Good to see you. Brandon's here as well. All right, well, I'm a little disappointed that I can't feature the chats now because I have like a little button that says chat. Wait, hold on, do I have to... Wait, no. I thought maybe it would work, but it's okay. All good. So, let's talk Old Grandad. So, I assume a lot of you are already familiar with the brand. They're currently produced by Jim Beam. It is the same mash bill that they use for the Basil Hayden's line. Actually, the Old Grandad name is named after Basil Hayden Sr. So, it gets its name from that. It is a high rye mash bill from Jim Beam. Definitely a different mash bill than what they use in like the White Label or the Black Label or even Knob Creek. Very different. But very, very enjoyable. A lot of people feel like Basil Hayden is the more like highly marketed version of Old Grandad, but the same juice. I feel like I agree with that based on my experience with Basil Hayden. I do appreciate some of the finishes they do with the brand, but other than that, yeah, I think this is one of the most bang for your buck lines of bourbon, and we'll find out tonight if this 16-year is part of that qualification, because this was $170. So we're going from a $22 bottle to a $28 bottle to a $169 bottle. So should be a lot of fun. But we gotta start with the Old Grandad Bonded, a classic, a staple. My starter with this, obviously. Let's show you the bottle here. Old Grandad Bonded, high rye mash bill, 100 proof bourbon, Kentucky straight whiskey. So there's no age statement on this, nor is there an age statement on the Old Grandad, just the 80 proof one. My guess is this one's a bit older. It has to be at least 4 years old, obviously, for bottled and bond product. There's no age statement on the 80 proof. My guess is probably closer to 3 years, which is like the minimum for being considered a straight bourbon. So I think this is probably more in the 4 to 5 year range. Again, just a guess. Don't actually know. But I just know it's more, approachable for someone that's actually getting into bourbon and becoming more of a bourbon enthusiast versus just, a casual drinker, which nothing wrong with that. But if you're learning to appreciate bourbon, I think it's worth the step up to the Bonded to get started. We're going to start there tonight. So let me go ahead and get that poured. Let me know what you guys are drinking in your glasses. I see Emily's here in the chat. I see Adam. I see Doug. I see Donnie. I think I already said hi to Donnie, but hi, Donnie. Brandon says, Bourbon Bites. I have Old Grandad 86 proof in the bunker. Nice. I think it was in the 90s that they discontinued that from what I was reading a little bit right before the stream. Because y'all know I wait to do my research right before. I already knew some stuff, but I did a little bit more research into the history of the brand. It started back in the 1800s. Actually, I had some facts pulled up here. I have some fun facts I'm going to read out through the night, but these are just some intro facts to it. It was first introduced in 1840. It's been through several different brands. At the time, it was distilled just by, it was pre-prohibition, right? So they started out really, really small, just the Haydens. Both Basil Hayden Sr. and his son started making this. And when Prohibition came, it was actually one of the few distilleries that was able to keep making medicinal whiskey. So you'll see some old, like, vintage, like, in like, Prohibition museums, you may see something labeled as Old Granddad. That's because it came from this distillery. Eventually, it got bought out by the brand that did Old Crow, what was the other one? What's the other old at Jim Beam? Old Crow, Old Overholt, and Old Taylor. So they thought it was a natural addition to the Beam line to add Old Granddad. So they're known as, like, their slogan for the while is, like, the olds. Like, that's what they had. So that's how Old Granddad became part of Jim Beam. Now, of course, the mash bill, I'm sure, has probably changed over the years. I have no idea what the original one would have been. But today we're talking about a high rye bourbon mash bill. So I tend to like a high rye bourbon. So let's find out what I think of the Bonded. Let's go and give it a nose first. By the way, the mash bill is 27% rye, which is the high rye part of it. I was trying to find the mash bill. I should have pulled that up sooner. Let's see. 63% corn, 27% rye, and 10% malted barley. And for me, this was about $23 here in Southern California. Donnie says, does your fact include who Old Granddad actually is? Yes, that's what I was saying. It's Mr. Basil Hayden Sr. Artfully Bourbon, cheers. Thank you for tuning in. I see quite a few folks that I saw on Baker Drinks. I was on their channel last Saturday. If y'all missed it, check out the replay. It was so much fun. We tried some really cool whiskeys. I sent them some cool ones. They sent me some great ones. And I was definitely tipsy by the end of it. So it was so good to meet some people there. Thank you to all the new subscribers that came over. Glad to have you here. All the new Discord members. You guys rock. If you don't know, we have a Discord server. The link's down the bottom. It's a great community of whiskey-loving friends. There's also a link down there to my Bite Club membership, which supports the channel. For as little as $2 a month, you can become a member of the Bite Club. But the higher tiers get you access to things like our monthly movie night happening tomorrow. We are watching War Games from 1983. We're going to stream it on Discord, have a little watch party, have a little hangout after. That's the $5 tier, so think of it like a $5 movie ticket. If you want to get in on that, join the Bite Club at bourbonbites.com. Link below. All right. Nose of this one, though. I will say I don't want to say it's classic Beam, because it's definitely different than like the Jim Beam White Label or Black Label, or even some of my favorite Jim Beam labels like the Distiller's Cut. It's definitely different than that, but I do think that it's has a bit of the nuttiness that we associate with Jim Beam, right? Like it's not like it's completely out of nowhere for the nosing, at least the nose profile here. I definitely think it feels a little more beamy than you would think. I do get some more spices, though. I do get a bit of a, like, cinnamon note for sure. But it's not a very sweet cinnamon. It's interesting. It's like cinnamon, but it's, like, on the spicy side. Like, you're, because a lot of time I get cinnamon and I get sugar, kind of like cinnamon sugar. But this one's more spicy, a little more like the gum, kind of like a natural cinnamon kind of flavor, but without the sweetness, if that makes sense. I do like the nose, though. I think it's one of the first bourbons that got me into bourbon, so it's very familiar to me. It's very comforting to me. But, I gotta give it a taste, so let's give it a try. Cheers. Yeah. I gotta say, like, that's probably one of the best bourbons for the price. I put this in the same caliber as like a Wild Turkey 101, same as like a Evan Williams single barrel. Evan Williams single barrel I think maybe is a bit better. I gotta give it that because it is unique. It's single barrel. I think it's a step above Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. I think it is a step above Jim Beam White Label, Black Label. Probably any of the Jim Beam current labels. I know in the past that I really liked Distiller's Cut, which was my favorite Beam product at the time, under $25. But this one I think takes the cake for best Beam product that I enjoy, under $25. Now let me know if you guys have another one. Would love to hear it. I know Old Overholt, I'm a huge fan. As you can see, I got a bottle there and a few bottles behind it. I do love me some Old Overholt, which is their rye. But Old Grandad is just a classic. And I know some of you saw the thumbnail that says, like, not just your Pappy's whiskey, because I think people associate Old Grandad with as just being an older brand. And it's very famous. It has a lot of references in older media. It actually was referenced by James Bond, or in the James Bond series, Live or Let Die. He ordered an old fashioned, and he insisted that it was made with Old Grandad. So that's one of the many random pop culture facts I found about it. But yeah, it's been referenced in many songs, many movies, maybe many books. So that's why people maybe associate it with an older brand. Also, like, I mean, you got to look at the label. Like, this looks pretty dang vintage, if you ask me. So the branding hasn't changed in 200 years, but does it have to? If it stands out on the shelf, I don't think so. I think it's perfectly fine, being like that. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm gonna taste all these side by side and then go through and obviously compare them and rank them. But I wanted to start out with this one and kind of warm up my palate. Definitely jumping right in with 100 proof. Great way to start the night. This is the first whiskey I've tried tonight, so I'm very, very... It puts me in a happy place. Hopefully you guys are in a happy place too. Hopefully you are having a great week. Tomorrow's Friday, if not. But yeah, just a heads up, I'm not going to be live next Thursday. I'll be going out of the country. I'm going on a cruise, another cruise. I know I just did one last year. It's actually the exact same cruise on the exact same ship. But this time I'm taking my mom. We are going, we're heading out on Tuesday from Long Beach. And we're going to Ensenada and Cabo and for like a 5-night thing. She's never been on a cruise. When I took it, I feel like she would be she seems like someone that would enjoy it. So that's why I decided to plan it for us. So I will not be live next Thursday, but I will try to be active. I think last time I was on the cruise, I joined, you guys were already hanging out on Discord, and I think I just popped in for a minute from the deck. So I'll definitely be around. I just won't be streaming. So if you're looking for entertainment and you missed last Saturday's stream with Baker Drinks, go to their channel and watch that and pretend you're watching me on Thursday. How about that? And if you missed the top of the stream, I'm using new software. So unfortunately, I'm not able to feature comments on the screen. I wasn't able to test it in advance because it had to be an actual active stream. I'm sure I could have asked someone to come help me out, but it's all good. I'll figure it out for next stream. There's a lot of lots of features in Streamlabs that I haven't really explored in a while. It's been a minute. I mean, I even changed all these colors and made them custom and everything, and they're like all erased. I'm so mad. It's cool. But we got to work our way up to the new 16-year-old Grandad. So we're gonna keep it moving. We might end a little bit sooner than normal. We only have 3 whiskeys, but it's okay. Well, more time for the after party, right? Which is what's available for the people at the $10 tier of Patreon or the Bike Club. All right, the one that I think most of you guys probably know, or at least is part of your bar, if any of these are, and that is good old reliable Old Grandad 114, if it will focus. There we go. 114 proof, 57% alcohol, Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. It's got a nice little seal there. Really lovely squatty bottle. I do like a good squatty bottle. It saves room on the shelf. This is lot number 1. I don't know if they all say that, but I just thought that was interesting that it said that on the back. Distilled at the Old Grandad Distillery Company in Frankfort, but it says Frankfort and then it says Claremont, Kentucky. So I assume they're kind of combining those 2 cities. Maybe they have 2 locations, like 2 actual locations they're sourcing from, but it is still a Jim Beam family product. Now this one, again, no age statement. We don't know if it's older or even honestly, it could be younger. We don't know for sure. Does anyone happen to know what the age would be? Would they have revealed that? It's estimated from what I'm seeing online between 4 to 5 years old. So people are thinking it's like a year older than the bonded, but it's up in the air. It's not labeled with an age statement. So we can just assume it's a little older. It's a little bit more expensive. $28 or $29 in Southern California. Just picked it up yesterday. So it's been a while since I've had this one. This is actually one of the first, it's not barrel proof, one of the first high proof bourbons I've ever had. Definitely before I got into cask strength whiskey, 114, I saw that and that intimidated me. I was like, oh, 114, am I going to be able to handle that? Again, this was, 2017 was when I was really getting into whiskey. So, gosh, that was so long ago. That was like almost 8 years ago. Yeah, I was in my early 20s back then. So definitely a different experience now. I love a good high proof. I love a good cask strength. So this is a fresh crack, by the way. Let's go and pour the 114. What about you guys? Do you prefer the bonded or the 114? I know it's kind of, most people probably prefer higher proof, but some people may just like the convenience of the bonded. Don't have to add ice, don't have to add some water. They just take it and enjoy it, especially in a cocktail. I think I love 100 proof to 107 proof in a cocktail, so I could see that being a cocktail whiskey. Daughter passed whiskey in the chat. Good to see you. Artfully Bourbon said Old Granddad 16 is a good one. Nice. I have not opened it. So this is the first, really true first impression. Zophir's here. Sugar Kitty's here. I've said hi to people multiple times. Again, I'm so used to being able to feature them. I can't tell what I've already read or not, but it's okay. It's okay. Biking Bourbon. I probably just said your name twice, but it's okay. Good to see you. And Donner Pass. Again, I'm repeating myself, but it's all good. We got good whiskey to drink, and I got good friends here. So cheers to y'all. All right. Nosing wise, so this is the 100 proof. Again, it's approachable, a little nutty, a little it's like the cinnamon spice. It's not very sweet, but let's go ahead and change and try the 114 proof. So try that. This is still 100 proof. One more sip. Not very sweet, little dry on the palate. Great. It doesn't burn. It kind of tingles the back of the throat, but it's nice and pleasant. But now, back to back, let's go to the 114. Cheers. Oof. That 14 proof points, you wouldn't think how much of an impact it has, but there's a big jump in flavor there. I skipped the nosing round because they smell exactly the same. I actually almost forgot which one was what. I'll be honest. They like the nose. That's the bonded. Yeah. The only thing you can get a little more ethanol on the 114, but smell-wise, they're almost identical, which makes me think they're probably closer in age than people are predicting. I think to me they smell at least the same age. Taste-wise, though, we are getting a huge boost in flavor from that higher proof. Yeah, it's such a dense and rich whiskey. It kind of reminds me of, y'all know I love Knob Creek. Even just the standard on the shelf Knob Creek 9-year has a lot of body and character to it. It's 100 proof, but this one's 14 proof points higher, but it has a similar body to what we get in a Knob Creek at a lower price point. Because Knob Creek is probably what? The regular, the 120 proof Knob Creek is like, what, $50, $60? But the Knob Creek 100 proof is right around $30, $35. I forget. I buy it so frequently, I don't even look at the price. I just know I like it, so I'm going to pick it up. There's only a few bourbons where I'll do that. Wild Turkey 101, Old Granddad Bonded, Knob Creek. Trying to think of what other ones I just constantly have on rotation. I'm trying to peek behind me to see what I have. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, obviously. I'm the biggest Heaven Hill fanboy, or at least I'd like to say so. It's funny, I was watching Women of Whiskeys last night. Michelle and Adriana were on, and I didn't realize Michelle was as much of a Heaven Hill fangirl, but she said that. I'm like, oh, I'm at the tester, so I might be sending Women of Whiskeys a Elijah Craig flight, hopefully towards the end of the year, and see if Michelle still has her opinion on her A batch, because she had some not so nice things to say about it last night, but we'll see what happens in a blind. But yeah, this 114 proof, it takes it to the next level for only $6 more than the bonded. If you can handle a high proof, or even if you don't want to, or if you can't, put an ice cube in it, add some water to it, put it in a cocktail, but it's a little high proof for a cocktail. But take your time with it. It's definitely not an intro pour. I'll tell you, when I went to this when I was in my 20s, again, one of the highest proof whiskeys I'd ever had. I didn't like it at first. I thought it was too strong. I thought it was too harsh. Had to have it over lots of ice. But now I can enjoy it quite neat, but definitely wouldn't be opposed to putting some ice in it. Because I'm some of you know, but like on a hot day, weirdly enough, I love high proof whiskey on a hot day, but it has to have an ice cube. Usually like a large one that's going to melt slowly. That way I can kind of sip it as it gets a little more or diffused with the water. But yeah, an icy high proof bourbon on a hot day is my jam, and today's one of those days. It's been in the 70s, not too crazy, but this past weekend it was in the 80s. At least where I'm at in Los Angeles. By the way, where is everyone from? I know where some of you guys are from, but shout out your locations in the chat. Not your street address or anything. That would be a little bit too much, but let me know where y'all are from. I know there's some new folks here, so I'd love to hear where everyone's from. Maybe some people have some neighbors out there in the chat. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm originally from South Carolina. I grew up in the town next to Adriana, weirdly enough. Like, we went to high schools that were like opponents, like the football teams were opponents. It was crazy. She graduated a bit before me, so there's not really a chance I would have ran into her in school, but there's a chance I could have ran into her around town. That would have been pretty crazy. Oh, yeah, that 114, I mean, again, one of the best values in bourbon, and I have not bought it in a while, and I've not had that thought in a while, but that's undeniably one of the best values in bourbon. If you like the Jim Beam flavor profile, a bit of the nutty. I will say this one actually drinks sweeter. That's actually what was most surprising. If I were to go back to the bonded one, well, it's fine. To me, that one is a little bit more of like a drier note. Maybe like dry oak, or it's just not really expressing the sweetness, and I think that's coming from the extra proof on the 114 because it has a layer of sweetness underneath that intense, I wasn't going to say oakiness, but it's definitely like a dryness. Get caught in the chat. Sure, he says, everyone remembers to lick the lick and like the lick. It tastes like granddad drank it. And Sugar Kitty, I see your little or your little Cliffy Bus emoji. Cheers to that. It's so cool I can see it on here. On StreamYard, it didn't show up, so I'm excited to see Bike Club members here. That's my YouTube membership, for those that are curious. Zover said, dang it, I just saw an old Granddad 114 yesterday and missed picking it up. Mine's all gone. Ah, man. I mean, I don't blame you. I didn't put this stream up till this morning. I think, how about this? Those of you that are patrons or part of the Patreon or Discord community, would you guys, like, even if I just, like, randomly made a post, not even a thumbnail, but if I were to put out a post, like, a few days before I went live to let you guys know what it was, would that help you out? Like, some of you, because I know some of you pick up bottles to drink along with me for these. If you would be interested in that, I'm happy to. I'm just going to delay making the thumbnail to the last minute because I'm a procrastinator, and that's just going to happen. And that's why I never really posted, because I'm like, oh, I don't have a thumbnail. Like, why would people care about a text post of what I'm going to do this week? But if you actually would like to see it, I'm happy to start putting that out on Patreon and Bike Club. Let me know. Sugar Kitty says, can't stay, but need a cat nap. Have a good cruise. Cheers to you. Hope you have a great cat nap. Todd's in the chat. Squirrely tea. Evening all. Sipping wise. 114 all the way. But love cooking with bottle and bond. It's fantastic with pot roast. Oh, okay. I've definitely not, I've not cooked with a whiskey that high proof yet. I mean, I don't cook with whiskey very often, but I usually stick to like the 90 or less range. But I can see this, I mean, this flavor and the nuttiness. Our signature dish cooking with bourbon, at least in my household, is baked beans with bacon, like real, like homemade baked beans, with bacon and lots of bourbon. I've learned over the years, if you put bad bourbon into it, it's not going to taste good. That's what surprised me. It's like, one time we were like, we have this bottle that we don't like. It's crafty. It's weird. But I'm like, surely we can cook with it. Well, those weird flavors came right into the beans, and yeah, it was not the best. Well, not the best batch. But yeah, since then I'm like, if I wouldn't drink it, I wouldn't eat it. So that's my mantra, I guess, moving forward. My chat's froze. What the heck? There we go. Okay. It's not like letting me scroll. Okay. I'm getting used to the software, y'all. I apologize. Emily says, so excited for a Women of Whiskey's crossover. Yeah, I love it. So much fun being on them. Where you guys are from. Donner Pass is in Grass Valley, California. Zofer's in San Diego, California. Doug is in, it's probably not La Place, but that's what my southern ass is going to call it. It's from Louisiana. I know, in the New Orleans area. And yeah, very cool. So I think it's time we move on to our big, exciting whiskey of the night. We'll be an first time ever trying this in front of you guys. I'll give my honest first impressions. I will say, I passed up on this whiskey twice before I bought it. Once, I just happened to see it in a grocery store, walked right by it. It was right around $200. I was like, I'm really curious to try that, but I hadn't read any reviews or anything, and I was like, let me do some research. Did some research. Saw there was like some mixed opinions on it. Some people, I mean, the overall consensus was people liked it, but they thought it was overpriced, which is totally fair. Next time I saw it in that same store, I skipped it because I'm like, I wonder if I can get it cheaper. I saw MSRP was closer to 160. I was like, let me just wait. Let me hold out. Well, it paid off a little bit. I waited like 2-3 months, and I was able to find this bottle right here for $169 from K&L Wine and Spirits. So again, about $10 per year, which I think in the world of bourbon these days is actually harder to find than usual. We used to use that as a rule. Like for old Fitzgerald, we'd be like, oh, it's a 10-year, so it should be $100. Times have changed over the past 5 years. Inflation is ridiculous. So I think $169 for a 16-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey from Heaven Hill, it's 100 proof by the way, is at least buy it once. If you're, I'm saying this preemptively. If I try this and it sucks, forget I said all this. But as someone that loves Old Grandad Bonded, that loves Old Grandad 114, I'm so excited to see where this takes itself after 16 years. The oldest Jim Beam product I've ever had would probably be some of those single barrel. Oh, that's not true. I've had the Knob Creek 18. That's true. That's older. I also have the Knob Creek 15. 18's up there, by the way. But I will say this kind of excites me, kind of like how the older single barrel store picks were of Knob Creek. Those were cast strength though. This is 100. So, and actually the better comparison would be the Knob Creek 18. Would y'all be curious to see me try it? We'll see how this goes. If I really like this, I think I might consider grabbing that bottle and doing a little side by side. If you guys would be interested. Text posts are great pre-thumbnails. Yeah, I was trying to highlight the chat. I keep trying. I keep like hoping a miracle is gonna happen and it's just gonna like pop up on the screen. But oh wait, is the miracle happening? Is it popping up on the screen? Oh no, that's not right. I just actually full screened my window there. Okay, I was like, oh my god, did I just do it? Okay, no, we're not gonna move. We're not gonna worry about that. We're done. Todd is from Columbus, Ohio. Yes, he is. Good to see you, Todd. Todd should have a package coming his way. So should Fred, because they are Bourbon Terabyte members. They get part of our monthly tasting box. I'm going to be sending that out this weekend, so you guys will have it when I'm back from my cruise, and we can maybe do it very, very soon. All right, let's go ahead and pour the Old Grandad 116. Not 116, 16 year. I'm so used to saying Old Grandad 114. All right. Color-wise, man, this is so much darker. The Bonded and 114 are very similar in color, but this one, I mean, you can tell that is a very highly aged bourbon. Looks intense. Artfully Bourbon said something about the Old Grandad mash bill. It holds up well at an older age at 100 proof. I thought the Knob Creek 18 was a little over oaky. I've heard that. I personally really love the Knob Creek 18. Wasn't a fan of the 15 because I got that tannic, bitter kind of over oaked flavor. Now I did have the first batch. I heard that later batches were better. I was so let down by my first batch of it that I didn't buy a second one. If I see it ever again, I might pick it up. But yeah, the 18 to me, I actually really enjoyed. I paid about $200 for that one too. So again, roughly $10 per year. Let's nose the 16-year-old. Don't say that out loud. Oh, whoa. Okay, very, very different. Man, that is like a full, like, I don't want to say like a full 180, like not the complete opposite, but that takes it a different direction, on the nose at least. Was not expecting that. Oh my gosh. That smells like, I have some vintage whiskey from like the 80s, and it's that's from Turkey, I think. I have a Jim Beam and I have a Turkey from the 80s, and this reminds me a lot of how that smelled. I mean, 16 years ago, where were we in the world? Oh my gosh, we were in 2009. Is that right? I was still that was like my sophomore year of high school. This is crazy. Wow, this is probably, I mean, still this thing I've drank lately. I'm very, very curious to give this a taste. The nose is exciting me. It's very, very different than anything else I have. Compared to the 114 on the nose, at least. Well, let me compare it to the Bonded, because they're the same proof. Yeah. The only thing that's similar between these two, the 16-year-old loses the nuttiness, but it maintains that like kind of little cinnamon, not sweet cinnamon, but like a natural cinnamon powder background note. But man, that has like almost like a metallic kind of quality to it, which is not, it sounds weird, but it's almost like a copper note. On the nose, at least. Tony's in the chat. Tony all the way up from Maine. Good to see you, Tony. It's been a minute. Tony is one of our supporters of the channel here, too. Cheers to you. Hopefully you are doing well. All right. I've nosed this 16... Not going to get... This sounds so bad. I've nosed this well-matured whiskey enough. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Oh, wow. Wow. Yes. I was worried, guys. I was, I don't know why I had low expectations. I didn't have low expectations. That's not true. My expectations were kind of like thrown off a bit based on like what I'd read online. But for me, a Beam lover, I always say Jim Beam and Heaven Hill are my absolute favorite distilleries. You guys have watched the channel for years and know that. This is incredible. This is really, really good. Almost to the point where I feel like, Jim Beam, don't listen to me because you're gonna do this and I'm gonna be really upset. But if Jim Beam were to release a BTAC kind of line, and they had like a 16-year this, an 18-year-old Knob Creek, cast strength, Jim Beam barrel or Old Overhold, or all these crazy fun things, which they do have a cast strength. But I'm just saying, if Jim Beam had a BTAC equivalent line, which is Buffalo Trace Antique Collection collectible bottles, this would deserve a spot on there. I could see this being one of the oldest ones on there. I could see this and Knob Creek 18 standing as like permanent fixtures in their antique collection. This is phenomenal. Probably better than the 18. It sounds like I'm gonna have to try the 18, aren't I? Because this first impression just, it wowed me. Almost gave me hiccups. Let's see. Todd said, I love this 16-year-old Granddad. The oak is strong with this. Oh, absolutely. Just bought Widow Jane 10-year and a Booker's today. Hope I like at least one of them. Well, I didn't. My last Booker's was it was the first batch of 2025, I think. Yeah. I thought it was good. I mean, y'all know I kind of. If you've watched the channel for a while, I used to buy every single batch of Booker's ever. Like I would do a flight of every Booker's every year ever. And up until like 2020, I enjoyed it. I feel like I was paying, my money's worth. And I don't think necessarily the quality went down, although some people suspect that it did. The price went up. And the price went up to a point where I feel like I couldn't justify it. Now it's starting to come back down a little bit. It's back down to 90 in some areas. That's why I picked up the 2025-01. To me, it's back down closer. I used to be able to buy it for $55, but we're not going to talk about that. Used to be, it was around 80 for a long time. So seeing it back at 90, I gave it a shot. I thought it was good. I don't think I'm ever going to pay more than 90 for a Booker's unless it's a special release. I think 90s is pushing it. I think, if it were 80, I think it's a very fair price. You get a cool box. 90 is like, it better be a good batch. You know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts on Booker's. I do love the flavor profile. I love the stories. I love the boxes. I love the batch names. Everything about it I do love. If I'm at a bar and I'm looking at their whiskey selection, I'm not quite seeing something, that I haven't tried that I want to try, I'll always look at their Booker's bottle and I'll ask them what batch it is. Because if it's an older batch or a batch that I somehow missed, I'm willing to pay, $15 to $17 for a pour of it and say, I tried it. If I love it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out and get that batch. But that beats paying $100 for the bottle and just being mad about it. That's my thought. But let me know if you guys feel differently. Big Chunga said, yes, mine is 0424 and I paid $105. Nice. Yeah, let me know. Feel free to come back in this video, comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think, or join our Discord. Let us know what you think. We have a room that's specifically for new bottles that you bought, and we love to ask each other, well, how's it taste? Because you're not buying it to look at. I mean, some of them. Some of them we hold on to look at, but yeah, cheers. That's love the nose. I'm gonna have to pour the 18-year. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna have to go back there. I don't have a clean glass, so let me finish out the 100 proof bonded, and then rinse my glass real quick. David, also hi David. He said problem is most places by me charge over 20 a pour for Booker's. It's one of the ones I oddly enough find affordable compared to lots of other things. Anything Buffalo Trace, even though the bottles are relatively available, at least regular Buffalo Traces around here, if it's got Buffalo Trace on it, the bars are going to charge a crap ton of money. Anything actually LE, they're going to charge a ridiculous amount. But there's like some ones that slip by sometimes. Like for me, it's been Booker's. I've seen it for like $15 some places. Even like Knob Creek single barrel picks, I've seen those for like $12. And I think at a bar for a 2-ounce pour of that for $12 is a steal. Usually it's probably a little closer to $15, but those are my go-tos. Like if I'm just going to drink bourbon at a bar, I don't like overpaying for crap bourbon. I'm going to overpay for bourbon I actually like. That's what I'll say. Unless it's a cocktail. I do love a good bourbon cocktail, but if they're using, Kentucky Gentleman or something in it, I will not be happy. Speaking of bad bourbon, I'm about to go on a cruise. I don't think they have very much good bourbon, but it's okay. I have plenty of bourbon at home. I do not have plenty of, I was going to say frozen margaritas, but I don't like frozen margaritas. I like margaritas on the rocks. What's a typical, tropical, I guess like pina coladas. I don't have pina coladas very often, but guess what? I can have it on a boat. That's my thought, at least. All right, that was the 100 proof bonded. Just rinse the glass real quick to give it a fair comparison. I'm gonna go grab my Knob Creek 18. While I do that, let me know if there's any new whiskeys that have come out this year that one that you've tried and you've loved, or two you've always been curious about. Now, if it's like a extremely limited edition, I'm not gonna be able to get it, but I'm on the lookout. I'm reaching out to some brands in the next couple weeks, trying to find some more guests for the channel. I do have a really exciting new release coming that will be very polarizing, but I'm very excited to try it. I almost had a rum, but I wasn't able to make their event for influencers or whatever. But yeah, so I've started reaching out again. I did that a few years back, and I loved it. I had so many guests. Those of you that have been around for a while know that there was a period where almost every week there was a new guest on. Probably won't go that strong. That was a lot. That's why I haven't done it since. That was extremely, I don't want to say time consuming, but it was extremely stressful reaching out and scheduling. That was a lot. So maybe not every week, but maybe at least once a month or so. I'll have a fun distillery on and to taste through their lineup. But let me know what you guys have seen this year that you would like to see me review, or at least interview someone for. Okay, be right back. I'm gonna go grab this off my shelf. All right, this one comes in the fun box. We love Jim Beam in their boxes. That's kind of what they do, right? This is the Knob Creek 18, again 100 proof. This is, I guess, their lower rye mash bill. It's not like low rye at all. It's just lower rye than the Old Granddad. 100 proof, limited edition. Let's go ahead and get this out. Let's compare it. David said was at a restaurant in Chicago and they wanted around $25 for a cocktail with George T. Stag. And I said, please just bring me the Stag neat, and they wouldn't. What? That's so rude. Oh my gosh. It makes you wonder if it actually had George T. Stag in it. I've never seen anything like that. That's crazy. It's either they just don't know what they have, or like they don't. Oh, that's so strange. I will say I have seen places that have high-end whiskey and do put them in cocktails. Same with tequila. But they would. Oh, I cannot imagine them not letting you try it neat. Now, I wouldn't expect them to give me a discount. Like it's like you're still getting the same amount of that expensive spirit, but I would still expect to be able to get it. Unless, I will say some bars are like, oh, it's a neat pour, so you're getting 2 ounces versus the ounce and a half. But I feel like if you, I don't know, if you just offer them the same amount, like, hey, okay, just so you know, we only put an ounce and a half in the cocktail, are you fine with that? I don't see a problem with that at all. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. Find another bar. That just sounds like a pretentious bartender that's like, no, you don't get to try this stuff. This cocktail's good because I make it good, not because the whiskey's good. That's the vibe I'm getting from that. That's weird. Todd said he was heading out. He has heading to Kentucky for a quick day trip to Old Pogue tomorrow in Augusta, Old Pogue and Augusta tomorrow. 6 a.m. wake up call is approaching quickly. All right, Todd. Well, you probably already left because I was late reading that comment. But cheers to you, my friend. Hopefully you have a great trip. Get some rest, and can't wait to hear about it. Adam says Baumburger's PFG was quite surprising, and the new Calumet 18 has me really intrigued, but it's expensive. I have not seen the Calumet 18. I've seen the 15 and 16. I didn't realize they had an 18. I'm curious. I did like them. I don't know if I would buy them. I would have to. That's for me. That Calumet's always been a try before you buy for me personally. I know some people absolutely love it, but for me, it's always been a try before you buy. Donald Rance in the house. Good evening, folks. Just tuning in on my way home from work. Well, Donald, good to see you. Hope to see you on the Hangout. I've worked my way through Old Granddad. That's also kind of a weird thing to say. The 16-year blew me away. I really loved it for $170. I think I'll probably buy a backup of this. Weirdly enough, it's not like too hard to find, at least yet. Once this starts getting a little low, I might get a backup bottle. I'm not going to go out and buy them all. Like, it's not like that good. Like, it's really good, but I'm not going to like go crazy unless they take my BTAC ID and they make that special release. Then maybe. But until then, let's try. This is the Knob Creek 18, which I've previously really liked. Paid $200 for that. 2 years older than that one. So similar in price in terms of age. All right, let's nose them. This is the Knob Creek. Interesting. This one doesn't have that cinnamon, that like cinnamon bright spice. It has oak. It's like oak is the dominant note, and you guys know I love Knob Creek. I'm basically exactly like Adriana. Knob Creek is always my go-to. My favorite label of bourbon is Knob Creek and Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Okay, they fight it out. Sometimes I'm Knob Creek guy, sometimes a Elijah Craig guy. But this has all that lovely, lovely oak, age, a hint of sweetness. But that is, it's a very nostalgic, very vintage, similar to what I thought about the 16-year. All right, let's try the 18. A lot more familiar, actually. I thought the 16 tasted more unique. Now I could say that because I've drank more than half the bottle, but I will say flavor profile, the Knob Creek 18 tastes like a Knob Creek. My go-to bottle right now, that's always on my bar cart, other than like Old Granddad Bonded for like cocktails, Knob Creek 12-year. Knob Creek 12-year for $55. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying this on stream, but it's probably one of the best deals in bourbon right now, especially if you like their flavor profile. 12 years old, 100 proof, $55. Like that's crazy. I mean, yes, we used to get Elijah Craig Barrel Proof for $60, but we don't anymore, okay? It's gone up to like $80. Although I have seen some picks come out for $60, but those are usually younger. The proof varies. So the single barrels, they've been hit or miss for me. I love the batches, believe it or not, more than the single barrels. All right. That was the Knob Creek 18. Let me go back to the Old Granddad 16. Noses are very, very different. Both vintage, both very... Where the Old Granddad was a little bit, like I said, copper or metallic or something. This one doesn't have... This one's a little more dusty and like old book, old library. Whereas this one's like just a vintage bourbon. Like it was made in old pipes. Like they say back in the day, they didn't used to clean the pipes as much as what a lot of people say, like why older whiskey tastes different. This kind of has that characteristic of a little bit of like a... Not like a rusty pipe, but a little bit more of a metallic, kind of coppery note to it. All right, let's taste the 16. I think that I prefer Old Granddad 16-year over Knob Creek 18. And not just by a little bit. I think the mouthfeel on the 16, they're the same proof. The mouthfeel on the 16 is just coating. I mean, it reminds me of how the 114 did when I tried that. It just absolutely saturates. That sounds weird, but it lingers on the tongue. It doesn't just like go down easily. I like when it like hangs out. Like not the back of the throat. Like I don't want to choke on it, but I like when it kind of hovers around the tongue. You still feel the tingling after you swallow. It's typically, we call it like a long finish. Old Granddad 116 has an incredibly long finish. And it tastes different than anything else I have on my shelf. I might have to get that second bottle a little sooner than later because I'm really enjoying this. It's so unique. Ooh. I'm actually going to a whiskey share event this Saturday. I'm debating, do I want to bring it? I do want to bring it because I want to hear people's thoughts on it that have been curious to try it. So maybe I'm just a little fanboy here. Maybe that's why I'm going crazy. But I think this is an incredible whiskey. For $170, I think it's a fair buy. I mean, it's actually a good value, honestly. The 18 for $200. Let me rinse my palate because that one's still on my tongue. It's still hanging out. Delicious flavor. Oaky, peanut butter, bitter chocolate, not sweet chocolate, not like a milk chocolate. Bitter chocolate, but a little bit of like a, this is a weirdly specific, it's like a chicken pot pie crust. Like the buttery, flaky crust. Not the filling, this ain't gonna get weird, but it's like the crust on a chicken pot pie. A little bit burnt, a little bit charred on the edges. I guess I could just say any pie. To me, I associate it with chicken pot pie because that's what I typically burn when I'm making pie. Delicious flavor. I mean, flavor, I would say flavor-wise, it actually has a little bit of an edge over the Old Grandad, but it's not as unique. It's a little more familiar. The Old Grandad has a unique flavor, but that finish is incredible. The finish on the 18-year, I'll be honest, medium. It's not nothing that's going to blow you away, nothing that feels too short. I like this whiskey. I think it's good. But in comparison to that Old Grandad 16, that's my winner for tonight. This is an incredible buy. If you guys get this and come back to the stream later, please leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts. I hear some people in the chat that said they really enjoyed it, but first impression, man, what a great bottle. Probably, this came out last year, didn't it? I'm still considering some things that I tried for the first time this year in my top 10 whiskeys of the year, so this one will probably have a place in that. If you don't know, I do a top 10 whiskey stream towards every end of year. If you want to see it, make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell button to be notified when I go live. I'm here every Thursday, except next Thursday because I'm going on a cruise. But that wraps it up for tonight's stream. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. The new folks, I don't want to say old folks, the old granddads. No, the new folks, the regular folks, and just people stopping in to watch, the replay later on. Please leave a like before you leave. It's small, but it means a lot to the channel. It does help out with the algorithm quite a bit. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the stream or Old Grandad in general, or if you completely disagree with my opinion. But until next time, this has been Bourbon Bites. I'll see some of you guys on the movie night tomorrow night to watch War Games. Some of you guys on our monthly hangout. Some of you in the after party happening right now. If you want to get in on all that stuff, visit the link down below, bourbonbites.com. Cheers, y'all. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.